Hey everyone, welcome. I'm fortunate to be here with you today. Now, who's one of you that made $1 million a year? Or raise your hand if you made $200,000 a year. Well, 1,700 people are made a day. So there is 1,700 millionaires made every day. So the question is, why not you? Well, I know it's an icebreaker, so I need to talk about myself and my story. Maybe my story can lead you to be a millionaire. Maybe my story can motivate you to do well in life. Well, the first story started about, it's so simple. It's about you move, you grow. It started when I was 19 years old and I decided to drop out of the best university in Tunisia, North Africa. My professor came up to me and she said, Nizar, you're one of my best students. You are so lucky to be in one of the elite universities in Tunis. Your country is depending on you. Why are you leaving the university to go somewhere else? Well, it maybe started when I was 8 years old and I started working with my father, right? One day during Eid, it's a holiday that we celebrate every year. All kids get to buy new clothes, whatever they like. I asked Dad to buy $200 worth of Fila shoes. And he said, son, I have 4 of you. Now we're 6, by the way. And he said, it's so hard and expensive for me to buy you those shoes. I need to be fair to all of you. I only have a budget of $1,000. So I decided from that day on, I'll never ask Dad for money. And I started working with him in the flea market. Yeah, I was 9 years old and actually 8.5. And I was the guy selling shoes to women, telling them, 2 dinar, Madame Bouchneach, 2 dinar. Madame Bouchneach is a famous singer. And I was telling them that was the shoes of Madame Bouchneach for only 2 dinar, which is $2. Right? Indeed, I dropped out of that school and that university just to come to the state because I was looking for more. And that's what I wanted to tell you, to stay hungry and never ever listen to what others will tell you. So my second story is about the word belong to those who stay hungry. And they belong to those who ask. I know it's kind of warm here. No, it's more than that. That will lead to my second story. My second story is when I first came to America, I slept in a Fiat. I slept in a car and I paid a guy $5 every single day so he let me use the shower. And I saved up. I worked 3 jobs at Hamni Bank, Hamni Market, and I worked at El Tigre Market. 3 jobs so I can save some money. And when I had a chunk of money, I didn't register at a community college or university. I used it to open my first souvenir shop in Hollywood. I slept in that shop. Yeah, I know. I hope the owner doesn't hear me now. It was illegal, but I slept in my shop. And I used up that chunk of money to open my first souvenir shop. And that opened my life to another venture, to be an entrepreneur. And that led me to sell that store and open my first restaurant in the marina in San Francisco. Then my second and my third, and we're lucky that we won the world best pizza. I know, I don't look like a chef, but I am. I'm a good cook. Well, that led me to my third story. And I think that's the most, and the one that most valuable stories of all. It's about death. And I'm indeed fortunate to be here. And I know fortunate mean what? To be lucky, right? And what else? Well, it's hot. Well, that leads to my third story, which is how lucky I am to be here. I joined the United States Army as a military intelligence non-commissioned officer. I was a specialist at the beginning. And I deployed to Iraq. In my first deployment, I learned so many things about camaraderie, about duty, about mission, and my value raised. And I felt like all my entrepreneurship journey taught me what America is about. But when I joined the service with that unit, I learned more. And I was so motivated that I decided to keep up and move up in the scale. So I joined an elite group of 75th Ranger Battalion. I deployed with them, then I was with 3rd Group Special Forces, Hua, deployed again. And during my 3rd deployment, something happened to me that changed the course of my whole life and the meaning of money, the meaning of family, the meaning of everything. And my first fight, it was my first firefight. Even though I was with Rangers, I was with elite MI group, and I was always a battlefield interrogator. I was the guy to walk in right after we get the target. But with my special forces, I was doing way more than that. I was exposed to many other things. And one of them was exposed to, of course, many firefights. And I will not forget my first firefight. My whole body was down. Everything closed. Everything became slow. And I was fighting death. I fought death really hard at that time. I don't know why, but I was fighting. I didn't want to die. I was saying, I'm still young. I'm still young. I've been through many things in my life, but that was the hardest. Then I remember that I did well, and I started thinking, what is the thing that is missing? And I said, oh, my family. I wanted my whole family to be in the States. So I came back, and I'm lucky and happy right now that I have my 2 brothers, my 2 sisters, my mom and my dad came to the States, and they're all citizens. Indeed. Well, it wasn't just that. I learned that I need to give back. So I started my own startup, and I was lucky that my startup get to grow, and I had a great team of other employees that they got to grow the company, and we sold it. After selling that startup, I decided to retire. I went to Tunis, spent 9 months. It was fun. I didn't have the Paris flu. I was lucky that I have a brother who lives there, so he showed me around. I enjoyed Champs-Élysées, New York. I don't know, I enjoyed the money. Then I decided, no, life is not about just having fun and throwing around. So I invite you all to join me in my journey, because now, but I decided to write a book, and I invite you for that journey, to follow me on social medias, read my book, and check out my online courses.